Let's check out Roro here. Abandon your art, it'll never be good enough. I think I know where he's going with this already.
Hello, internet. Have you ever made a piece of art?
Are you guys fan or not? Fan or not fan? This is probably clickbait, but it's probably a decent conversation point. It's clickbait.
Put it out after it was finished, and then later on looked back and been like, I could have done this different. I could have done that different. Well, I don't think you should ever finish your art.
Why does he look different, bro? Was he wearing glasses before? New hat? No. This is the same hat.
I think you should abandon it.
He was wearing glasses before, right? Something has changed. Hold on a second. Something has changed, and I can't figure out what the hell it is, bro. Wait, hold on. He was wearing glasses before, right? Yes, he was wearing glasses. Okay, he was wearing glasses. Yes, okay, suddenly he's not wearing glasses. Interesting.
Leonardo da Vinci famously said, art is never finished, it's only abandoned. I'm paraphrasing a little bit maybe, but I really think that that's true. Because art is not something that is fully objective or concrete ever, in my opinion. There's always something that you can do differently. And it might even depend on how you feel. You know, like, if you're working on a painting and you're feeling a little bit sadder, maybe you're going to do more blue colors or something. This is very, like, generic, but I'm
some
trying to illustrate
busy-isms right now
here.
Okay.
And if you're more angry, you might do more red colors. And let's say you finish the painting and it's red, and then you look back and you're like, man, I don't really feel like this anymore. Like, if I had made this now, I wouldn't have made it so red.
Yeah, what he's saying right now is definitely true. When you're making something, like, it's how you felt at the time, and you're not going to feel like that exactly ever again. Maybe at some point you may feel kind of similar, like very, very close, but it's not going to be the exact same. And then also, the whole abandon your art, it'll never be good enough. I agree with that, because if you keep waiting, you're going to be waiting forever. And I've been doing that with all my music lately. The music I've been making for the past couple of years, I'm just like, it's never fucking good enough. I need to just put it out at this point because it's just sitting there doing nothing.
So, did you really finish the painting then? I guess you can say you did, but if you had kept working on it, it might have come out different. So, I think the most important thing that an artist can do, the most important skill that an artist can hone, is knowing when to abandon the art piece. And I really do think this applies to all art forms, you know, like,
true.
Even with music, you know, I
don't know if it's the most important skill. It actually might be. Because think about it, if you don't have that skill, then you could just ruin your shit or never put it out. It kind of is the most important skill.
Music, that's my primary medium of art. I'll listen to songs that I put out years ago, and I'll be like, damn.
Yeah, and also knowing when to click delete or to not put it out. That's also another thing.
I could have done this differently. I could have done a different chord here, or like, this part's too loud, or...
I mean, you can always edit it, but not on YouTube.
In this part, you know? But it was just abandoned. I just let it be what it is. And obviously it's important for you to like what you're doing. So you don't want to abandon something until you're ready in the moment to be done with it. And
bro, that'd be a funny way to start, like, talking about your music, like you releasing your music. You're like, I'm gonna be abandoning some music this weekend. Make sure to check that out on February 24th. Actually, whatever, that's not this weekend. On February 24th, I'm gonna be abandoning some music. Make sure to check it out, guys. It's gonna be abandoned at midnight.
Sometimes you have, like, depending on what you're doing, you might have a deadline. Like, let's say you have a show, like in a gallery. You might have a deadline where you need to finish these by a certain time. Or if you're like, meeting up with somebody in a studio. So you need to have music ready to go to show them, when you get there. I mean, in that case.
One thing I will say about his videos, I am critical a lot of these, like, rant videos without, like, an outline or script or anything like that. I do think he does it pretty good, though. There are some people who can do it a lot better than others. Like, compare this guy to Bolo. No offense, Bolo. Just I don't know. I really just think you need, like, an outline or something, bro. You need an outline or something. Like, the videos need to be shorter, man. And not that they can't be that long, but just for what you're, like, trying to put out there, like, it's way too fucking long.
You don't even have to finish it. But I forget where I heard this. It was maybe in a documentary about Basquiat. Basquiat's a painter, for anyone who doesn't know. I'm sure you've seen a million copycats of him on social media.
It's not even that he's bad at what he does, because it works for him. You know what I mean? I just think he could do it better, is what I'm saying.
But Basquiat famously was like adding things to his paint.
And I'm giving him the fucking sauce too. That's the best part too. Like I hate when people get upset about that, though. Not saying you are, but I'm saying like if he were to get upset about that, it's like I'm giving you the sauce to be like, people would pay for this.
Painting while they were hanging in the gallery, like right before the show. So I feel like that's someone who understands that you don't really ever finish art. You just abandon it when it's, time to abandon it. When you're ready to present it to people, or when you have to present it to people, you're just letting it go. And that's a concept.
Basquiat was a junkie, uses a boy toy for Warhol and others. Huh?
Is relevant to other areas of life besides art. But this is something that I struggle with in my art and in my real life, is just letting things go. Just letting them be what...
10 minutes was max length on YouTube for a long time. I think it might be a good idea to go back to that. Because it'll have people like actually having to edit their fucking videos.
They are.
Wait, did he say you can do better than Basquiat? Wait, did he say that? I missed that.
A documentary about Basquiat.
I'm not going to spill my soda.
Basquiat's a painter, for anyone who doesn't know. I'm sure you've seen a million copycats of him on social media. But
okay.
Basquiat famously was like adding things to his painting while they were hanging in the gallery, like right before the show.
Okay, let me lock in.
So I feel like that's someone who understands that you don't really ever finish art. You just abandon it when it's, time to abandon it. When you're ready to present it to people, or when you have to present it to people, you're just letting it go. And that's a concept that I think is relevant to other areas of life besides art. But this is something that I struggle with in my art and in my real life.
Wait, did I miss the part where he said you can be better than Basquiat?
Letting things go. Just letting them be what they are. Which is essentially the same as abandoning it, And I think this is one of those times where art can really help your life in a very literal way. Because art can teach you lessons that you can apply to your real life, such as knowing when to let things go. Or knowing when to push through because you know that there's something on the other side that's what you want and is what you're hoping to achieve. And I think it works the other way too, say you're a person who doesn't feel like they have a lot of control in their life and you have a lot of obligations, you have a job you don't like, maybe your living situation isn't ideal. Things in your life you feel like you're not in control of. Art is a great escape from that world where you can be like, I have full control over what I'm doing. I'm going to do everything in my power to make this how I want to make it. And you don't get to do that in your regular life.
Yeah.
But you can kind of learn to find that balance, at least mentally, inside of yourself from doing art. Art is very powerful.
Okay.
And I know I talk about this a lot, but people forget that, I make music. People forget music is art. And people forget that there's no rules in art. If somebody doesn't like it, it doesn't mean that it's wrong.
This one feels a little more rambling than some of his other videos. I feel like we're lacking some outline here.
It just means that they don't like it. You know what I mean? So I think more people that make art should lean into the lawlessness of art. And that
holding mic is a good YouTube meta. It lets people trust you more and makes you come across more authentic. Actually, I do like it sometimes. Like, I might even start doing it right now. I don't know, it makes me feel like it makes it feel more personal, you know what I mean? Like you're up on like a stage or something. And it's like, okay, don't worry, I got some jokes, guys. I got some material.
Itself is going to make it harder to finish something. Because...
But it feels weird when I'm like reacting though. Like I'm just like, okay, now what do? I just hold it to my mouth?
There's no rules for what you're doing. How do you know when you're done? You know what I mean? But if there's like a rule where you're like, okay.
True.
Let's say I'm making a song. I do the drums. I do the chords. I do the...
Do you trust me now? You trust me?
Melody. I do the vocals. I mix it. I master it. I put it online. I'm done. But if you're not following that rigid structure, then, it's hard to know when something is done, which is why I don't think that it really is ever done.
Yeah.
If you're making a product, maybe you can say that it's done, ready to be sold, and sometimes art can be a product. But even then, like, think about the iPhone.
I mean, I think if it's like a style that's like already pretty well documented, I think there is some objectivity to whether or not something is done. If you're being completely experimental, though, I think it is a lot harder to determine whether or not something is done. Like, for instance, if you're making some avant-garde, weird, experimental noise, ambient type shit, then I feel like it's going to be a lot harder to be like, okay, this is done, you know? Whereas if you're making like a type beat, I think it's a lot easier to be like, okay, yeah, this seems pretty done. It sounds like other type beats in this style that I've heard already.
Phone, you know, I don't know if the iPhone is art. I don't know if I would consider an iPhone art. It obviously is a product, but even the
iPhone is not art, but you know what is art? Androids are art.
iPhone, they're constantly adding new stuff to it. They're constantly updating it. They're constantly making new versions. Maybe it's not necessary to make all those updates. They're doing it anyway. But even something as like influential and important to modern society as the iPhone is never really finished, you know? Like,
well, the whole, I mean, it's never finished because they're trying to make more money off it, dude. That's the reason why it's never really finished, because they're not adding, they're basically adding nothing to them at this point. Like, getting a new phone at this point, you might as well just be throwing your money out the fucking window and letting other people collect it, because that's basically what's happening. Like, they're basically just they're making it worse in some aspects, like removing the headphone jack. The only thing that's getting better is the camera, and then maybe like some software features that they probably could have implemented in the old phones as well, like the AI, like image search shit or whatever, because of money.
When they were creating the iPhone, they were like, all right, we made the iPhone. This is done. But now there's so many different versions. They've updated the software.
Valid question, because I've been hiding under a rock. Who exactly is this guy? This is Roro. I think he makes decent like rant videos. Bro, this is a crazy fucking thumbnail. Here, I'll get to that after. One thing I do like about him are his topics. I think he makes pretty, like, sometimes like they're a little rambly, and I think he maybe doesn't get to the point well enough, but the topics are really good, and I think it's a great discussion point generally. You know, the titles are a little bit clickbait sometimes too. This one's not as bad, but like the Don't Mix Music one was pretty clickbait. But yeah, this is a crazy fucking thumbnail, dude. This Kanye one, it's over for Kanye. They got Kanye as Hitler, depicted as Hitler. Basquiat could never. It don't even matter. Who cares?
They've added new things that you can do with your iPhone.
Yetler.
This is something I have to think about a lot.
Tony loves this guy. Bro, Tony fucking absolutely destroyed this man that one day. That was crazy. Bro. Like, I suggested to him one of this guy's videos just to, like, hear his takes on it. And he like, went in on him so badly, dude. I guess because he was drinking, and he told me he was hangry. But yeah, like, oh, man, bro. When Tony has a few drinks, I think you should not recommend him watching a video, because he is like a destructive force, man. He's a destructive force when you put like somebody saying some crazy shit on the screen. Not even crazy shit, just controversial shit.
I struggle with black and white thinking. That's just something that I've always struggled with. I've dealt with it in therapy.
Oh, I've seen that.
I'm not gonna get into that in this video.
I'm terminally online. I think
a lot of people in life see things as black and white because it's easier for them to comprehend that something is either this or this. You know, living in that gray area can be mentally.
Yeah, Tony's great,
because then you don't.
Tony's great. Just don't let him get into the alcohol, dude. Just don't let him get into the alcohol.
Really know where you stand. You know, you don't really know where the situation stands.
I love Tony though. Love Tony.
And that's a scary feeling for a lot of people. You know, they want to feel like they have some say in their life, have some control in their life. But I think learning to live in that gray area.
Tony is better when he had as a drink. I do agree. But also, it's not. It depends. I don't know. Like, for instance, like with the Roro thing, that was too much. But the Plug-in Boutique thing, I'm not sure if he was drinking on that one. But that one, that was great. The Plug-in Boutique thing, that was amazing, dude. He destroyed that guy.
Really important and can be very beneficial to making art. Because, again, it's all up to you. It's all your perception. It's all what you want when you're creating something. And that's how it should be. So, I think, in general, I would say artists should not get so caught up in finishing something. Mm-hmm. They should just make what they want to make. And then when it gets to a point where they feel like there's nothing else that they can add, just let it go. You know? Because, I don't know. Art is tricky. Art is... Obviously, there's things that you can do to get better at art.
I think we get the general gist of this video.